We are officially at the halfway point of Season 1. Dexter has wrapped up quite a lot of victims, but he's still not got the ice truck killer. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, here to review another episode of Dexter. This one is Season 1, Episode 6. It's called Return to Sender, and after the end of this episode, we officially mark the halfway stage of Season 1. I felt like a lot of stuff went down in this episode. I felt like there was new storylines getting added to the show. Obviously, the ice truck killer, that is the main story. That is what we're focusing on. But we've seen Dexter's past in the last episode come back to haunt him. Perhaps he didn't do a good enough job. Perhaps he rushed that kill, that secondary kill. And now it looks like that could be coming back to bite him in the ass because he wasn't prepared for it. And it might have left behind a little bit of evidence because it looked like somebody seen him kill Valerie. Now, had he just killed the husband, he would have been okay. He would have got away with it. But he decided he wanted a double kill. He wanted to kill George and Valerie. And we find out that somebody, in fact, seen him from one of the car trunks in the yard. And that is pretty much where we begin this episode. Dexter gets called to a crime scene, but he doesn't know that it's his own crime scene. He's getting called to the scene where he killed Valerie and George. But how is there a crime scene? Because Dexter took care of their bodies, or at least that's what he thought. When he dumped them into the ocean, he cut up George. He didn't get to cut up Valerie, but she was still dead. She was still wrapped up in bags, bin bags, and tossed into the ocean. But it turns out someone actually dove 100 yards to the bottom of the ocean, picked out Valerie, swam with her back to the top, pulled her out of the ocean, and then placed her back in the exact same place where Dexter killed her. What is the chances of that? It looks like someone is playing with Dexter here. We then find movement in the trunk. Dokes goes and opens it, and it turns out to be a little kid. For some reason, Dokes was playing, I don't know what he was playing. I guess he was pulling rank when he was opening the trunk, because Debra was going to do it first, but Dokes is like, nah, I've got this. I'm going to be the one to open it. And in the end, she questions him about it, but he's like, look, I was just looking out for you. Next time, I'll let you get shot. So, I don't know. So Dokes got some sort of like male superiority thing going where he has to be the man.
No, I feel like he's just the sergeant. He should be the guy. I don't feel like the rookie should be the person. Not she's a massive rookie, but I feel like the sergeant or the higher up should be the one to open the trunk.
Well, Debra says that he wasn't getting in the way of LaGuerta opening the trunk, but he did her. So,
but yeah, she's top woman.
Yeah, maybe he's just looking out for Debra. Maybe Debra should actually learn to be a little bit grateful that maybe there's someone that is trying to protect them. We then see the kid go with LaGuerta. The kid takes a liking to LaGuerta.
She speaks Spanish, amigo.
And that kind of lost me in this episode because there was a lot of Spanish dialogue between LaGuerta and this kid, and there was no subtitles or anything like that.
Yeah, so we're kind of just guessing what they're saying.
And it's not like it was only like one-word replies. They were having full conversations in Spanish. And don't get me wrong, 52-minute episode probably only took up, let's say, no more than 4 minutes. Yep. But when you're sitting there listening to people having conversations and you have no idea what's being said, you do lose a bit of concentration.
Yeah. As a 7-year-old kid, and you can't even argue here, he's not important to the plot. He could literally bring the plot crashing down, so...
It could. Dexter's panicking, but they take the kid off. Then, him and Masuka go over the body. Dexter's still amazed that this person actually dove to the bottom of the ocean to bring up the body that he killed. Masuka notices a little mark in the neck, which is obviously Dexter and doing his tranquilizer stuff, but Dexter's like, nah, that doesn't look like a...
It looks like a mosquito bite.
Yeah, he says a mosquito bite. Masuka thinks it looks like an injection, like a needle mark, but no, Dexter's like, definitely no, that's a mosquito or a blemish or something.
He does panic very easily, Dexter.
He does panic. Later, when he's got the car locked to himself and there's no one about, he jumps into the back of the trunk and locks himself in the trunk so he can get the same vantage view, the vantage point of the kid to see if the kid's seen.
He definitely saw me.
And he gets the same visions of the kid and he sees himself injecting Valerie, and he's like, fuck, this kid has seen me. We then get Dokes. He's not taking calls from his family. Eventually, he decides to go and see his family. He's on the case, though, with Debra. He tells her, look, if you want to come in, you get some free food, and if you want to just wait outside, then that gives me an excuse to get out early. But she goes in, and you know what? It didn't really serve much of a storyline purpose, but I thought it was a pretty good scene with Debra and Dokes at dinner.
It was
with
funny.
His family.
No, yeah. If these scenes aren't going to, serve importance, then have them be funny.
Yeah, he doesn't like the foul mouth that of his family, but I mean, he's probably the most foul mouthed of them all.
Motherfucker.
And it was a pretty good scene where they had dinner. Do we see Dokes' family again though? Probably not. I don't know. Can't remember. Will we see them? Who knows? Dexter though is worried about he's coming under suspicion for the ice truck killer. Masuka says that he went against Dexter's, not orders, but he went against Dexter's theories, Dexter's advice, and he went and examined the body, and it turns out that there was a drop of, was it M99 or something?
It was
a tranquilizer.
A tranquilizer that only approved DEA agents could get a hold of.
Yeah, you need to be like DEA or police or the high-ranking officials. And Masuka's like, I've got a whole list of these names. And Dexter's like, oh shit. Even though Dexter's been using a fake alias to buy this stuff, he thinks that it's going to come back to him. So he manages to log into Masuka's computer and delete his name from buying the tranquilizer stuff. So pretty smart again, Dexter trying to cover all his tracks. Debra comes in. She said she's made up her own case. She's put together a bunch of documents. She thinks that there's someone that is trying to copy, someone that admires the ice truck killer.
The copycat killer.
And they are a copycat killer. Dexter, though, doesn't want to bring any more heat to himself. He doesn't want his killings to be linked to the ice truck killings. He just wants his killings to go under the radar. So he tells her, look, I think you're wrong. I don't think that at all. He agrees with Dokes. He's like, it was probably just the husband that done this. It was probably George Castillo. And Dexter's like, Debra thinks that he is wrong. And he tells her, look, you're just new in the case. If you do something stupid and mess it up, then that'll give LaGuerta a reason to be on your ass. But Debra's like, no, I've got a hunch. Just like you have hunches. I'm going to follow this through. So Dexter panics. Dexter then goes back to his... Now, the kid's coming in to do a sketch, and I don't really know how these sketches work, because how can a kid describe what he's seen and then a sketch artist actually draw someone's face perfectly? Explain that to me.
A 7-year-old kid that is traumatized, and he could describe someone's hair, he could describe someone's... maybe.
The basics, but how the fuck do you actually get a description to actually look like a person?
Yeah, I don't get it, because see here... I mean, one, it's a kid, and they start it with the eyes. See if someone...
It was so dark, it wasn't even anywhere near him. How do you see the eyes?
See if someone said to me, here, you need to describe someone that had described their eyes. I mean, the only real thing you could say about their eyes is whether they're narrow or wide.
But how could he see... How could he really see his eyes from where he was? And there was a pretty big distance between them.
Well, everyone knows what Jesus looks like, so that'll probably come in handy later on.
Dexter goes in to try and see what the picture's going to look like, but it turns out the kid's not finished it yet. He's sleeping on LaGuerta's knee, and Dexter begins to shit himself. He's like, oh crap, I need to get out of here. He then goes back to his apartment, and he gets all his cutting tools. He gets pretty much everything that he's used, all the evidence, and he gets his blood slides. He throws everything into the ocean. He's about to throw his blood slides out, and he looks at Valery's blood slide, and he notices that the blood inside her slide has a happy face on it. So the ice truck killer is obviously trying to still help him here, trying to give him a clue. Dexter then does not throw it in the ocean. He decides he can use this blood. Since he's got Valery's blood, he can use it and incriminate George Castillo. So he does that in order to make George Castillo look like he is the one that killed his wife. Therefore, Debra's whole theory about having another ice truck killer or a copycat killer, that is pretty much put to bed. Dokes, his logic about it always being the husband seems to be true, and Debra is pissed off at Dexter, which doesn't really seem fair considering she doesn't know that he's fucked this up to make it look like she was wrong.
Yeah.
She thinks it's she thinks that Dexter and Dokes was genuinely correct and she was wrong, yet she's having a go at Dexter.
It's almost like she would, like you say, she knows that Dexter's the killer, but she's pointed this much evidence towards herself. I don't really get why she's so pissed at Dexter. If anything, everything he said just came back to be true.
No, I don't think she doesn't know he's the killer.
Yeah, no, she doesn't.
It's
But I'm
al-
saying
it's
it,
al-
would,
it's
it, would
almost-
only, it would only make sense
It's
if
al-
she knew he was the
It's
killer.
almost like she's acting as if Dexter has fucked up this case on purpose for her.
Yeah. And she's got it wrong. Yeah, I feel like she is like this a bit petty.
We then see a flashback where she was annoyed that Dexter was getting taken out on like shooting trips with their dad Harry. She wasn't allowed to go. Then Dexter, I believe,
Stay in the kitchen, man.
gave her the key to Harry's guns. We see her shooting some of Harry's guns at like cans for target practice. Harry's pissed off. He's like, never do this again. I'm so disappointed in you. She gets grounded for 2 months, which seems a little bit harsh. Dexter says he's sorry, but Debra's like, you know what? You're not sorry. You're enjoying this because you get more time with Dad. And then she says, you know what? He says, oh, come on, you're my sister. She says, I'm not your sister, and sometimes I wish Dad never brought you home.
Damn, sick burn. Dexter's. Debra's going to be his first victim here.
She does apologise, like, really quickly, but that's a fucking harsh thing to say.
Yeah.
I don't think the quick apology is good enough.
It's almost like she should have said it and then not apologised. It's like copping it, jobbing it. Stick to your guns, Debra.
Or just not say it.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, she could have done that.
Also in this episode, we do get like the flashbacks where Dexter's lying down. He's like the victim in his dreams, where he's sweating a wee bit.
Yeah,
I like these.
He's panicking. He's thinking that he is going to get caught, and you know what? He might, because all of a sudden, I mean, he's always disposed of his bodies, and this is the first time you've seen one of his bodies.
No, it's intriguing.
Getting examined.
See this ice truck killer, whatever. If he wanted to kill Dexter, he could. See how easily he's broke into his house. Seems like he does it every day.
I know. Dexter, we do see him change the locks in this episode. And then from another storyline standpoint, we've got... the kid's uncle comes and collects him, by the way, so I guess... Berta looked annoyed, because she was kind of asking about adoption and what happens if you take a kid from the case, because I know she asked Dexter about Harry taking him.
I will say this, right? See the ice truck killer? Dexter can't really let this guy get arrested. Or else he could easily just job him out.
He could.
The only way this guy is brought to justice is Dexter kills him.
That's how Dexter likes to bring most people to justice. Although you could argue doing that, you're actually giving someone an easy way out.
An easy way out.
No, but like, see if someone does a heinous crime. What is actually worse? Dexter...
He kills people, though, that aren't likely to get arrested or have just been released on, like...
Yeah, phony charges. I know, but still, I mean, I think you'd rather someone do 20 years inside. And then the other storyline was really just Rita and her kids. Her ex-husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband, is out of prison. He got released early because the prisons are too crowded. What a bullshit fucking reason.
It's a bullshit.
I mean, build more
Should Dexter
prisons.
not be standing up here a bit more, though? This guy was sitting here, like, what? He was charged with rape, wasn't he?
I don't know, he's never met him. I mean, he's never seen him. It's like,
he's never
do? I mean,
he's never seen him.
What can he do? Jump on the phone and start stabbing the phone or something?
Yeah, but she's on the phone. Oh, the ex could be showing up. A guy's got a history of drug abuse, raping and beating the woman he's with, and he's just sitting there. Yeah, it's alright. No emotions, Dexter.
Yeah, well, that's Dexter for you.
Let's pick up the kid at the birthday party.
Aster doesn't want her birthday party, but Rita's like, no, don't worry, I'll go ahead. And she phones the dad and says, look, you're not coming. If you come, I've still got the restraining order, blah, 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 blah. And I'll get you arrested if you do come. So, yeah, that, I'm sure, will just piss him off even more. And maybe we'll get to meet him pretty soon. But that's pretty much it for the episode.
We do end with the birthday party where Dexter and Debra stare at each other, and it's kind of like, she'll be over it in a couple of days, man. What over in a couple of days? What the fuck's the problem, Debra?
She's annoyed that Dexter and Dokes were right, and she was wrong.
She's the sort of person, right, where if Dexter let her go ahead with it, and then like got her buried, it should have been like,
Dexter should have stopped me.
Your hunch should have said the other way, man. Oh, come on, Debra, know your role and shut your mouth, jabroni.
Anyway, that is it, guys. That is the episode. I thought it was pretty good. Obviously, Dexter panicking, having to get rid of his stuff, thinking that he's going to be caught. The Spanish stuff did kind of let me down a little bit. That's the only thing I didn't really like. But, you know, I thought it was a pretty good episode. I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
I'll give it a 7. It's very consistent. I'm yet to be blown away, but like you said, let's wait towards the
end. But yeah, 7 out of 10, guys, for us. We'll catch you in the next one. Let us know what you think down below. And that is us officially at the halfway point of Season 1. 6 more episodes to go. Catch you in the next one. Till then, though, peace.